episode of the Bog and Smog Fantasy Cast, and I am once again joined by Smog and Couch, Phil Cole. We had quite the weekend, us three boys here. We took down the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 spots in fantasy this week. So I'm riding high. I got to assume you guys are too.
Oh, I'm riding high on that Monday night game.
Dude.
Beautiful
Points,
game.
points. I don't think we missed any points from that game. I think everybody had their players in.
Points everywhere on that one. I was going into it. We'll get into it on the recap, but I was stressing, and about a quarter in, I was not stressing anymore. It was fantastic. But this week on the show, we're going to be, recapping what happened in Week 5. And then, of course, talking about some transactions and some trades and everything that happened. We got a little trade happy. It was good to see. And then we've got a new segment on the show that I think should be pretty fun. And, of course, we'll preview Week 6 and what we can expect in this week coming up. But with that said, let's jump in to the Week 5 recap. And this week, this past week, we had quite a couple close games. This was kind of more the usual week that we expect, right? We got some really high scores, some close matchups too. It wasn't one of those like super down weeks, but the first matchup to just talk about here, this was one that was kind of up and down. Who do you think you are? I am versus the fantasy football team. Joe comes away with a win, 122 to 108 over Ben. And I remember watching this matchup and seeing that at one point, I think Joe, according to projections, had like a 10% chance of winning. And then all of a sudden just started raging back with a couple of these players. Coming away with a good victory to get to 3-2. Anything that you guys saw in that matchup?
I thought it was, instead of a raging away for Joe, I think it was more of a fading off for Ben's team. A lot of players not taking the field after a couple of bad plays and some injuries that were lingering. I think Ben right away was projected 140, and you see finished with 108, like you said. So definitely a downswing there. Go ahead, Bog.
Yeah, it's hard to
Smog.
It's hard to get up to. Yeah, you can call me whatever you want, man.
I won't.
It's hard to get the 140 that you're projected with T. Higgins going out, giving you a goose. Darren Waller going out early, giving you a goose. Damian Harris 1.7 injured early. James Conner 6 points injured early. This was a bad week for Ben. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
Hopefully those players can come back for his next matchup here too. So.
Yeah, and he called it out, 4 injuries in 1 week. That might be a record. He might be right on that one. But moving on to, I think, what was our closest matchup of the week. We had the natural-born Kylers squeaking out a victory over Kicking It with Kareem. And both of these teams now sit at 3-2. The natural-born Kylers getting a 108 victory to 96 from Jordan. So this is our lowest scoring matchup of the week, but Ethan still comes away with a win, really on the back of Leonard Fournette and, of course, as always, Cooper Kupp putting up big weeks.
I don't even know what to say.
Jordan's team didn't perform, right?
Yeah, Jordan's team, like Jamal Williams has been giving him good weeks. Miles Sanders has, and they just 7 points, 5 points. Sutton with 9, that's pretty good. Kirk coming back down to earth. He was doing amazing all year, 1 point. The good thing is Ramondre Stevenson put up 25 carries, 18 points, 161 yards. He looks pretty good.
Definitely going to be really nice moving forward.
It's the same team we were worried about seeing at the beginning of the year with Jordan's team. Showed up this week. He's been very non-scripted. He's been doing way better, and his players have had way better performances than this week. But this was what we were worried about, was the variability of his team. Hopefully this is just a blip. So.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we get into our matchups, and I'll just jump into my matchup with Michael. This was one going into Sunday night. I was down 8 points with him and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and me having Josh Jacobs. So I needed Josh Jacobs to outscore Clyde by 8 points. I think it was like 9 points going into the Monday night game. I was like, it's possible. Like, worried about it based on how Clyde's been doing. And after like Las Vegas's like second drive, I think he had like 15 points and Clyde had like 0.2. And I was like, all right, now we're in good shape. And I just kind of like coasted the whole rest of the way and felt good. There was a time when Clyde almost scored a touchdown. I guess I started getting a little nervous, but ended up not being a touchdown. Got called back actually. And I was like, all right, it's just meant to be. And that got me up to 2-3, and I feel like I'm back into being competitive for the year here, back in the mix with it.
Couple of wins in a row has got to feel pretty good, doesn't it? No, it seemed like I honestly, I looked at the game before Monday night, or your matchup here, and I was like, Josh Jacobs, Clyde Edwards. Oh, this is over. Clyde Edwards has been having a monster year. And then he craps out 9 carries, 15 yards. He just wasn't involved. He didn't get those cheap touchdowns he's been getting all year. And Jacobs had a monster game, best game of his career. So, what did you take away from it, Smog?
Well, I think Travis Kelce didn't give many opportunities to anybody else to get touchdowns. So that's too bad for Clyde. Great win for Bog there.
Yeah, and speaking of Kelce and him not giving up any touchdowns, he sure got his fair share, which is what launched you up into, I believe, our highest score of the year, 176 points. Just devastating victory over Tyler.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was hoping for like a game of 176 points over someone like Jordan, or someone who has Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack that can go off. Yeah. But that's okay. A win's a win, and it was a fun Monday night. Travis Kelce getting 25 total yards, just a huge game, but 4 touchdowns, right? Unbelievable. Devontae Adams 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. It looked good for me, and hopefully we can keep going with it. Hopefully I have Devontae Adams after the bye, but who knows? He might get suspended for that little shove he gave at the end.
Yeah, Michael Tweeten had 175 last week, and so you notched him by a point this week, but still,
that's right.
Just a beautiful game.
Get out of here, man.
Last but not least, Cole, you came away with the victory too, taking down Tanner 131-106. Where were your emotions all throughout this weekend watching this one?
A very, very hot start. Josh Allen lobbing up a couple touchdowns to Gabe Davis to give me a nice little 50-point boost, and honestly the first 15-20 minutes of football. So I was kind of already on cruise control after I saw that, as long as Tanner's team didn't put up some crazy numbers, and they had some pretty average and substandard weeks or performances this week. Yeah, what did you like from it there, Nick? Or
yeah. Careful.
Oh boy.
No, that's wrong.
So obviously,
I don't know if we're going to be able to submit this one, buddy. I just don't.
So what I took away from it, let me jump in here. Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, and Gabe Davis all putting up 30 points, and then Cam Akers putting up 3, St. Brown putting up 3. It was kind of a mixed bag there, Cole. But you came away with the win, so good job.
Cole.
Thank you.
Cole, can you please bench Cam Akers just for the sake of the rest of us not having to talk about Cam Akers anymore?
I will. I will not. I promise. I will not submit any more offers for him. I will. I will accept offers, fielding offers always, but I will not broadcast any offers. I'll take this one off into the night, whether he scores 1 point or it's probably going to be 1 point. What am I saying? So it just I don't know what to do with the Rams backfield. I feel like you have to start somebody, and I feel like they're going to click offensively. It just every week I'm still going, what week is that? When are they going to start putting their pieces together? Not this week.
Yeah. And that was our Week 5 recap. And looking at the standings right now, Phil sitting alone on top, 4-1, and looking strong with that lineup. But the rest of the league, all very tight. From 2nd to 9th place, we only have one game difference between whether you're 3-2 or 2-3. So very, very even. We're not very top heavy or bottom. This is like a perfect distribution here. So I like to see that. It means everyone's competitive, and we got ourselves a good, healthy league going right now. I like it. Mm-hmm. But not everything is healthy. Sometimes things aren't good. And sometimes that's a bungle. And this is Boggle's biggest bungle.
Boggle's biggest bungle.
The bungle this week, like, it was hard because no one had, like, one player they could have started to win. I was kind of looking through, like, no one had just one absolute disaster. But it's got to go to a losing team. That's got to be kicking it with Kareem. And it's not a... Like, you're never going to, like, say starting Lamar Jackson is a bad decision, but I think the flip-flopping is going to be hard on Jordan just because, yes, both of these are incredible starting quarterbacks between Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts, but, like, you're going to make the wrong decision sometimes. Sometimes one of them is going to go off while the other one doesn't, and this was one of those weeks where Jalen Hurts went for 27 while Lamar Jackson only did 15. And I think I did the math. Even if he made that switch, he would have lost by like half a point. So then we can kick it down to Kareem also. And had he started his namesake in either of his running back spots, that would have made the difference. So overall, that was kind of the bungle of the week in my eyes.
That's good.
But moving on, not everything is a bungle. Everybody made some waiver wire moves, some transactions. People tried to make their team a little bit better. Let's get into those waiver wire moves and those transactions, guys. And in terms of the waiver wire, Phil, why don't you kick us off? Because you're talking about the big one of the week that people went in on.
Yeah, so, I don't necessarily love this move, but it seems like it's necessary right now with the tight ends being the way they are this year. It's like you have Kelsey, you have Andrews, and then you have trash. It just seems weird. But Taysom Hill going for, what, $75? I think Ethan picked up Taysom Hill for $75. You can plug him in, and hopefully he gets you some rushes, some touchdowns. He was in for 30% of snaps, I think, and he got 34 points. That's ridiculous. That shouldn't. I hate Taysom Hill, but he got picked up. He outbid Ben. I think Ben got 60. He outbid you, Bog, at 16. And then Cole was like $1, please. So
tight end number 3 on the year. You got to at least throw a little bit of money his way. So
yeah, I mean, so that's a big pickup, man.
It is, and with tight ends right now being like a decent tight end week is like 7 points, I don't hate going in on a guy that can boom for like 25, 30 points like he just did, right? Like, oh, maybe you give up that like 7 points that Hunter Henry would have got you. But instead, you could just win based on what Taysom Hill did. So I don't hate it at all. I do hate Taysom Hill as the Alvin Kamara owner. I hate him a lot. Like, I can't stand him as a person or just who he is and what he represents.
Yes.
Ouch.
Absolutely.
But there was another move that I did like that just happened today. Free agent pickup, just a little freebie. I liked Cole's move snagging DJ Dallas just because with Rashad Penny going down for the year, Travis Homer's still on IR. They say he should be coming back in the next couple of weeks, but as of right now, he's not. So that backfield just looks like Kenneth Walker and DJ Dallas. So one, he could get some work, and if he does, he's better than Cam Akers. And two, if Ken Walker goes down, like even if Travis Homer comes back, he's going to be in a 50-50 split, maybe, where he's going to at least have some value. Like, it's a pickup that you actually could probably play this year at some point, which, you know, for free, that's worth stashing on your bench. So I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But otherwise, just kind of the rest of the waiver wire moves are pretty standard. People just picking up a couple of guys, seeing if anything pops out. Nothing too crazy. But the things did get a little crazy in the trade area. I've been asking for it. I said, let's get those trades going, and it delivered this week. Really, Joe really got it moving, delivering quite a few trades, starting with one with you, Phil, last Thursday night.
Yeah, so I think he shoved me a trade right before the Thursday night game for, what was it, Denver and whoever. I had Jerry Jeudy playing. I was hoping we could get this trade before the game started, but he gave me Mike Williams and a third of next year. I reluctantly, of course, got rid of Elijah Moore. I do love Elijah Moore long term. But Garrett Wilson coming in, I like Garrett Wilson too. He's kind of supplanting him this year a little bit. And Zach Wilson is not good. So this year, I wanted to bolster my receiving core this year again. And so I went out and got Mike Williams.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, your team right now looks fantastic. You've made some of these moves, and it is putting you, like, your average age is ticking up with each of these transactions. But,
yes, it is.
Your firepower this year is also, going nuclear too. So,
right. I'm all in. I'm all in this year, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to pre-call you finish third or higher. Is that safe?
It's pretty safe.
Yeah.
I'll give you playoffs, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Oh,
anything.
He's gonna get knocked out week one, huh? Ooh, ouch. Sorry.
Can happen. But yeah, and then otherwise, Joe did keep it moving. One of those trades was with you, Cole. Why don't you give me the lowdown on that one?
Sure. I shipped away Tony Pollard split back in Dallas there. Zeke's got a longer contract, so my thought was maybe Pollard gets re-signed, and if he does, he'll stick to that role. Or maybe Pollard, whose contract ends, I believe, next year, he might go out into the free agent market, might get a number one role, might start putting up big numbers. Either way, it's a lot of maybes on both sides of it. So a 2 is probably a little bit less than I wanted, but I was happy to meet Joe in the middle there with a second-round pick, and we'll see what happens. That's what all these trades are for. It's speculation, and you're
It
feeling
is.
good, and then you're also feeling nervous that somebody else is going to blow up as soon as you sent them off your roster. And then there was another trade with Joe. He also sent away Khalil Herbert and a third-round pick in 2024 for Michael Carter and Rashad White. Smog, what did you think on this trade here?
I think it's a fine trade. Michael Carter, I'm not fond of. Rashad White, I think, will be good long term. But Khalil Herbert, getting the backup for David Montgomery is not bad. You can play Herbert. Once David Montgomery goes down, Herbert has shown he can put up 20 points. So shoring up that backfield is not bad. And, how old is Khalil Herbert? Is he... Could he go
year?
somewhere?
Is he a sophomore?
Second year. Maybe
Okay.
like 23, 22.
So there's,
And
I'm fine with the trade. Yeah. I think
White's a rookie,
down.
and there's upside there if he gets a role. And Carter's also, I mean, obviously now that he's with Breece Hall, his value has gone way, way down since the snaps are going to be like 60-40 probably in Breece's favor, at least maybe if not even higher going forward. But Carter's young, so there's some value on both those picks. And, yeah, once again, a lot of variability with all these players, so we'll wait and see.
Yeah, there is. And you and I made one move. We were kind of going back and forth with this one, Cole, all weekend. And this was one where we kept negotiating, and I was just like, dude.
How many offers did we submit back and forth? How many offers?
I was like, hey, we may not come to terms. This is my final offer. This is just like, this is what it is, or like, I can't go anymore. And that's what you need to do with trades sometimes. I feel like it's like, quit dancing around, just being like, this is the price, man. If you don't get it, it's okay for us to move on.
Yep.
But then I submitted it, and you hit accept, and I was immediately like, oh, shit, did I want that or not? But but I got a first round pick in exchange for Gabe Davis and a third, which I feel okay about, right? Because my eyes looking at it was Gabe Davis, as he clearly displayed, can put up massive games with massive plays, but throughout
his floor
all of
his
last,
floor is his floor is
it's
pretty
relatively
low. Yep.
Right. Like throughout all last year, and I know he's been kind of hurt at the start of this year, but he hasn't seen like the targets that like I really wanted. Obviously he can hit the big plays, but I was like, this guy, I'm okay getting a first for him, but obviously he can also put up massive games, which is what wins you weeks too. So that's why it costs what it costs. So I felt okay about it.
Yeah, I was after our much back and forth. I was definitely comfortable with doing it, but boy, am I nervous. And seeing a 30-point performance after a trade didn't make me nervous at all. But I'm ready to accept that there are going to be weeks where he's 4 targets, 40 yards. And he's a third year player. So there is some room for growth in his career yet. But I think, there's also an opportunity for some other wide receivers if Diggs ever diminishes his role. But there's a clear one and then everybody else on that offense. So
yeah, but stacking him with Allen is nice too. So
I copied Phil with his trade. So
yeah, thanks for the handouts, the stack handouts.
Hey, I'm just here to try to make everyone happy.
If we were to evaluate Boggs trades this week, if just on a 1 week basis, you got to say those were the worst trades you could have ever made, right? If you were going to go by a 1 week, just a 1 week basis, yeah,
absolutely.
Future, you
probably
can't
like
say
100, close to 100 points between all of them.
Yep.
All the
But
three guys.
future, you're looking pretty nice. How many picks you got, Bog?
Nothing crazy. 2 firsts and a second right now next year. But I like that. And then when I get an ad, I'm optimistic that at some point Mariota will not be the quarterback in Atlanta, and
Yeah.
anyone will be better.
So is everybody in
Pitts
that
will be
offense.
good at some
Everybody's
And
optimistic
then Pitts
that
will
he's
be good for
going to be the
15
quarterback.
years. Yeah.
So, so I still feel good about that. But that's that's the transactions of the week. And now I think it's time to jump into our new segment that I'm excited about. I think it's just going to be kind of fun. And I don't know fully what to call it, but it's like
Pizza party?
it's the pizza party.
It's the pizza party.
It's the pizza party showdown. This is the pizza party showdown.
Name it.
So what we are going to do is the three of us are entering a DraftKings contest between the three of us. And we're going to be setting lineups for a game based on the whole week, the Thursday through Monday night games. And the winner, or I should say the loser between the three of us, lowest score, will be buying a pizza for the winner at some point in the following week. And we're going to keep doing this like each week for as long as we kind of feel like it. We know there's a few out
For
there
as
that
long
play
as
daily.
we want pizza.
Yeah, that's right. So this might be a little daily hits, but this also kind of shows some guys that we think could have some good weeks too. So I was just kind of setting this up. I'm going to submit my lineup because I didn't want you guys to see it ahead of time. But I got this in here now. And let's go through all of our quarterbacks. Phil, who did you take at quarterback for the week?
I am riding the high, and I took Pat Mahomes. He's facing Buffalo. That should have an over-under of at least 155 points. I'm gonna go with Mahomes.
Safe.
And he was cheaper than Josh Allen, so I saved a bit of like a couple hundred maybe.
Okay.
Where'd you go with your quarterback, Bog?
Yeah, I went opposite. I went very, very low, down in the dumps. And I'm riding Daniel Jones. Going up against Baltimore, though. So I'm hoping Baltimore can put up some points, make the Giants have to chase them, which could mean Jones needing to do everything he can to keep the game alive, maybe get some runs, and chucking it deep whenever he can. And we know Baltimore's defense can give up big plays. So a little sleeper play. I'm still deciding whether or not I want to play him because I just picked him up.
No, I think that's
I
a
want to
steal.
start him against you. So yeah.
That's a
Cole, what
steal.
about you?
That's a steal, Bog. No, so if anybody's not familiar with the DraftKings lineup, you get $50,000 to spend on your players, and you can spend money on the bigger players for the week. They cost more, but then you're left picking up scraps in other positions. So you kind of pick wherever your gut tells you, and sometimes going cheap on a quarterback is the smart play. And honestly, I'm looking at it and going, darn it, I should put Daniel Jones in my lineup. I didn't. I went Josh Allen. He's been quarterback one. He's been quarterback one. He's on my team, first of all. Second of all, he's been quarterback one for, I think, 4 weeks or 3 weeks in a row. It's pretty safe bet there that he'll get some production. And then at my first running back spot, I also went incredibly safe. I went Nick Chubb, cleaning up against New England's defense.
What is the rest of your team going to look like?
You'll see.
Give me both your running backs.
Both running backs? I went a little bit more on the buyer one where this is a little lower value. Jeff Wilson Jr. 6,200. Not an unreasonable buy.
Not bad. And against Atlanta,
Yep.
I was looking at him.
I think they'll be playing from ahead. So what do you have at yours, Bog?
Yeah, I took I spent up at running back, and I went and got Austin Eckler taking on Denver. And, Denver's got a good defense, but I think we've just seen the resurgence of Eckler. And then I also went James Robinson against Indianapolis.
Looking for a bounce back there.
Yeah, I am. I just picture Jacksonville doing pretty well. He's probably going to get some goal line carries, I think. And hey, he's 6,100. So for workhorse running back, that's a decent price.
That's very good.
Yeah, my running backs were both under 6,000.
Nice.
So my first one was Devin Singletary. I still want pieces in that KC Buffalo game, and he was like the cheapest one I could find in the game there. And then I went Kenneth Walker.
Oh yeah,
They're playing Arizona. I think they're easy to put points on. And I got a good feeling, man. Rashad Penny. I apologize, but very sad. But Kenneth Walker, man.
I just want to scrap my whole lineup after hearing those. Those are good picks.
Well, you can put these in like actually enter some contests for the weekend. You can stash some of these in there. But my wide receiver spots, I took Darius Slayton at 3,800 to pair with my Daniel Jones. So I'm rocking the Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton stack.
Great stack.
Bold move.
I mean, they don't have a lot of receivers there. All of them are done.
Right.
All of them are hurt.
Right.
So,
and then Michael Pittman and Adam Thielen.
okay.
All right.
I like them both. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jacksonville.
all of them. Yeah. Pittman going up against Jacksonville. I'm hoping for a bounce back. And Thielen, was it Xavier Howard? I'm assuming he'll be shadowing Jefferson most of the game. Not that necessarily means that they're going to shut him down, but I think that should hopefully open some things up for Thielen a little bit and make him a little more needed.
Yeah.
But Cole, what did you do at wide receiver?
So I spent up on one wide receiver, but then I went budget on my next two, and then on my flex is also a wide receiver, but we'll wait for that. So I went DK Metcalf for my top pick, and then I went Romeo Doubs, Green Bay wide receiver, and then I went Rondell Moore in that Arizona-Seattle game, which I think there's going to be some points to be had in that game. So maybe grab a Marquise Brown or even a. It hurts to say it. Grab a Geno Smith probably would be a good budget pick for that too if you wanted to swap in a different quarterback.
He's looked good.
So what did you have for wide receivers, Phil?
For wide receivers, I had Amari Cooper. It looks like, and he was only 5,900. I thought he would be a little bit more than that. He's been great. He had 12 targets last week. He's looking like his old self again. I also am hoping for a bounce back with Christian Kirk. He was 5,800, pretty low as well. I'm not spending up on a lot of these guys. I think you know where I'm going with my tight end.
Yeah.
So Christian Kirk, I think he'll bounce back. And then I got Alec Pierce in and for 4,300, so pretty low on that guy as well. In Indianapolis, he got 9 targets last game, 6 before that. I think he's looking like Matt Ryan's favorite target, actually. So.
And you alluded to it. I'm assuming tight end is Zeus himself, Mr. Travis.
It is Travis. It is Travis Kelce, 7,800.
You need to have.
Yeah. So
piece.
I thought bringing back the stack of Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I feel like it's going to work against Buffalo. I feel like it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Give me as many pieces from that game as possible. Just take them all.
Yeah, I went with a guy who kind of goosed us last week, but I had to spend down Mr. Tyler Conklin, going up against Green Bay. They're not good against tight end, and I'm hoping that they can force the Jets into needing to throw the ball a little bit and get Conklin some targets. So he was cheap. He's only 3,400 at the tight end spot.
And he's been pretty decent this year. I mean, he got the goose last
Yes.
week, but I think he's safe.
Yeah, I was honestly looking at him for a bit there at tight end spot, but then I adjusted my roster and was able to spend up a little bit more, but not much more. Right in the middle of the pack for tight end, I chose David Njoku. He's had a middle of the pack year, and he's had some decent games in there, so I'm hoping he gets some decent production this week. And then here at the flex, I was running very low on the fab or the budget, so I went with Khalil Shakir, a rookie from Buffalo.
Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking Josh is going to try to find anybody to throw the ball to, and I think who's still out this week? Their other wide receiver. I'm spacing his
Just
name.
Isaiah
Crowder.
McKenzie?
McKenzie's
Crowder's
back.
out. McKenzie's back this week.
Okay, McKenzie's back.
Yeah, he was back from concussion protocol, and Crowder was out for a while. So I think he's a good. He had 70% of snaps last week too. So let's hopefully he catches one or two of those.
He
Big
had
bombs from
75
Allen.
yards. Yeah, he had 75 yards and a touchdown last week, which is why I put him in my flex as well.
Whoa!
Yeah, so I mean, he was 3,700. I was
Yep.
like, what? Who at this price can do something? And that's the one that I landed on. So
Yeah. And I spent up in the flex spot because I want to stash another running back, and I went with Joe Mixon for 6,900.
I like your running backs this week, Nick.
Yeah, do you?
In your DraftKings lineup?
Yeah. I mean, they're fantastic. And then I also went with the 49ers defense.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Because they're taking on Atlanta. And I just
I believe they also are number one in sacks this year, if I remember right. So can't
and
go wrong with
defenses
that.
this year have been blowing up. I mean, they've
Having some
been
big
getting
games.
people some 20-point games and stuff.
I
On
went-
defense, I had to scrape
You're good.
a little bit lower. So I went with the Manders because
boy.
the Bears are bad, but so are the Manders. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, it's a gamble. I want to see the
Yeah.
Manders crush the Bears, but if our game with the Bears is any sign of how you should be able to slow the Bears down, I don't think the Manders have much better defense than we do. So I'm hoping I'm wrong. I want to see the Commanders win, but no, I went with the Bucks on my pick, playing against Pittsburgh. Getting to see some rookie quarterback throwing the ball against a pretty above-average defense. I thought that was worth spending up a little bit. So we'll see if that's worth it.
No, that's good. So the rundown here, I've got Daniel Jones at quarterback, Austin Eckler, James Robinson at running back, with Joe Mixon also in the flex, Michael Pittman and Adam Thielen, and Darius Slayton at wide receiver, with Tyler Conklin at tight end and the 49ers defense. And I can't imagine anyone with that good of a lineup, all those players, ever losing this week. I just can't ever picture it.
Are you hungry? Do you want that pizza?
You gonna pre-order it? I'll take a meat lovers, Phil. So
Oh, I don't know if you're going to win because my lineup rundown is Patrick Mahomes, Devin Singletary, Kenneth Walker, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, Alec Pierce, Travis Kelce, Khalil Shakir, and the Manders D.
I was feeling confident about this till I heard your guys' lineups, and I don't know how I went wrong, but we'll see. I still feel good. Josh Allen at quarterback, Nick Chubb at running back, Jeff Wilson at running back, wide receiver DK Metcalf, Romeo Dobbs, Rondell Moore, tight end we got David Njoku, flex Khalil Shakir, and Shakir, and the Bucks at the defense. So.
I like it.
Beautiful.
And we'll see how this plays out. Man, I like this, and I'm really craving a pizza right now. Just
And that was
Oh, man, right?
and that was week 6 pizza party. Yay!
Yay!
There we go.
But we'll see how that plays out, and you guys can let us know if this is a fun little activity we're in or not.
Or
comment
if you guys
below.
want to join in, we could get
That's
some more
right,
people in here.
We can get more people into the pizza party contest. This is open to all. But for now, we're just going to run it with us three just this week. But yeah, let us know. We'll open it up in future weeks to come. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's just do a really quick preview as we're kind of running tight on time here. Let's do a quick preview of what's to come in Week 6. What are the big matchups we're looking at? And let's just address the elephant in the room. Phil, you and me, head to head. Here we
That's
go.
right.
2-3, Sir Davos taking out 1-1's Wildlings, 4-1. You are a heavy favorite at a projected 129 to my 113. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty decent. My wide receivers could be a little shaky. I like yours better. So, but I'm feeling pretty good. Not everywhere. I mean, you got Kenneth Walker. I really like him. But I'm feeling good. So far.
Yeah. I just made the switch. It just happened.
You just made. I see that. You got
I made the switch.
Daniel Jones in there now.
Here's the deal. I need to shoot the moon this week, and Trevor Lawrence is not a through-the-roof scorer. Like, I was hoping he'd give me average scoring, but he didn't last week. Daniel Jones actually seems like he has a higher floor than Trevor Lawrence, and I also think
Higher
he has a
ceiling,
higher
I
ceiling,
think, too.
especially this
Yeah.
week against Baltimore. So we'll see what happens. I need some of these guys to just go off. But we'll see what happens. It should be a fun one. I don't think it's as lopsided as the projections say, but I would rather be in your shoes also. I lean that you're going to win.
Me too. But yeah, I think it'll be closer than the projections.
I like the Minnesota start against the Miami D. That'll be the win or loss for that matchup.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it was for your rookie third-string quarterback. Might as well.
I love it. I think you're going to get some points there.
I hope so. And then another one, we got a 2-3 versus 3-2 fantasy football team versus Are You Ready for Some Football? This one coming in, Ben is dealing with some injuries. The question mark that just jumps out at this one, Are You Ready for Some Football is projected 126 versus Ben's 116. So projected decent advantage there. The real thing that could really hurt Ben is if James Conner doesn't play, which he's very questionable right now. Does he go to Kenneth Gainwell? Does he, what is his backup running back option besides Kenneth Gainwell in that situation, and how do you feel about it? And I think that could really hurt him.
That can definitely hurt. I don't think there's anybody on the waiver wire that you really can go out and get. Let me see here. No,
it's too tight. Yeah,
you could play Tevin Coleman and hope Jeff Wilson goes down or something. You could do something like that. But yeah, that's looking like it'll be tough.
Yeah, so I lean Are You Ready for Some Football just based on injury for Ben. Like, those injuries that hit him last week are just kind of lingering and going to just be painful for another week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one that we've got here, 1-4, Nectar of the Gods, going up against the Natural Born Kylers. 1-4, Nectar of the Gods, 3-2, Natural Born Kylers. And this projection is a little lopsided here. We got 130 for Ethan versus Tyler's 98. And I think the good news after this is after this week, DeAndre Swift is supposed to be back. After this week, DeAndre Hopkins will be back. So things will start looking up for Ethan, but I'm still pretty worried.
Or Tyler,
yeah. For Ethan, for Tyler. Yeah, I'm pretty worried about him this week, especially Ethan's team's pretty good.
Right.
I don't see much upside in a lot of the players on Tyler's team. That's a little frustrating. I mean, if you put a best stat line on every person's game, it might match 130 points. And if somebody's already projected that, that's going to be an uphill battle the whole way. So, good luck, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm pulling for you, but
yeah, next week will be better.
Next week will definitely be better. And then we've got another 3-2 versus 2-3 matchup here. We got Kicking It with Kareem taking on the rando guy out east, and this one is projected to be incredibly even, 119 to 120. And the question, as always, is: do you go Lamar Jackson? Do you go Jalen Hurts? Right now, Jordan is leaning Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. And that's probably the way I would also lean this week, just because Jalen Hurts is going up against Dallas. I don't think he'll necessarily have a bad week, but Dallas has a great defense right now. So, yeah, go with Lamar against the Giants. Both these teams, I guess another question I would have is, what do you guys do with Russell Wilson on Tanner's team?
Oh, my gosh, dude. He's been so frustrating. I think you have to keep. Do you have to keep playing him? Who else? You have Stafford, who's also been very frustrating.
Zach Wilson against
good luck.
Green Bay?
Flip a coin. Yeah, maybe Zach Wilson. He feels like maybe the safest bet. Man, I don't know what to do. I think I would play Russell, but I don't know.
I mean, all that information about him being kind of banged up and not 100% kind of came out this week, too. It's like, as soon as you start to see some of his numbers, it makes sense. So as long as that's not going to prohibit him from coming in and playing a healthy game, he's probably still the best option, sadly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It's tough.
I don't know which way. I'm going to lean Kicking It with Kareem on this one, but it's close. It's a flip of the coin. The final matchup of the week, Cole, your matchup against Joe. Once again, a 3-2 team versus a 2-3 team. I think we have 3 of those matchups this week, so there's the possibility we end up with like 6 teams that are 3-3 by then, or like 7 teams that are 3-3 at the end of this week if everything plays out right. So like, this is kind of wild. But yeah, you slight underdog to Joe. But how are you feeling about it?
My goodness, look at my bench. Then that'll tell you. I've got 6 players on bye. So this is my bye week.
Oh, this is your bye week.
This is 7 players on bye. I apologize. So yeah, if there's ever a week where you need to just pull out something and find a win, this is it. So yeah, I don't like starting Akers, but I don't know what else to do. There's not a lot of running back depth available on the free agent market, and my other players are backups and split backfields. So it looks close. I don't see it being close. I think Joe takes care of business against me. So what do you think about it, Phil?
I mean, I want to say Akers is the good play here, but who is it? Mike Boone? Could be Darnell Anderson again.
Could be Darnell Anderson.
That's the hardest decision of your life, and you're going to be wrong every time. But
so far, I have.
I would be too.
Is he still out? Is Tevin Coleman still out there? Is that what you said earlier?
Tevin Coleman's still out there.
Tevin Coleman. I would rather put Tevin Coleman than Cam Akers.
I would too. That's why I'm gonna go pick him up right now.
I mean, so let's look at
who can snipe him first.
Let's look at the breakdown. He played 28% of snaps. He had 2 touchdowns. He's 29 years old.
Cam Akers'
That was the
leg
highlight of
is
his career.
50. Cam Akers' legs are 50 years old.
That's true. Taysom Hill is also a grandpa and still runs like a top. So I don't know. Maybe it won't matter. He's 30. He's 32. It's so ridiculous. I don't understand. Like, and if you watched any of the highlights from the Saints game last week, he looks like he can just do what he wants anywhere on that field anytime he gets the ball.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about playing him if you're going to pick up Tevin Coleman.
Somebody else pick him up. I'm not gonna waste my time.
Anymore.
Oh, you did pick him up. Wow. I think that's a cool move. Hey, now I'll pick up Desmond Ridder when waivers come up here. So.
Yeah, I was hoping like picking up Desmond Ridder right at the beginning of last week, like maybe Mariota goes down or something, but it wasn't the case.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get him. Rock the Desmond Ridder Kyle Pitts stack.
Yeah.
But no, I think it should be another interesting week, and we're getting into week 6, and like I said, like this is the week things could really spread out in the league, or could even get into more of a deadlock. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how it plays out.
Lots of players on bye on my team and around the league. This is the first week of buys, so people are gonna start looking at those extra spots on your bench and making sure that those players are at least startable in the upcoming weeks here, forecasting for other players' bye weeks.
Oh, yeah. The buys are coming. But you know what else is coming? The end of the show. And
the end of the show's coming.
The end of the show is coming. But, man, it was a good one. The pizza party was a blast, guys. I am really excited for this week. But this is it. Signing off from the Bog and Smog Fantasy Cast. We'll talk to you guys next week.